top 5 expectations you have about your marriage which never comes true. Hi friends, welcome to Marriage Realities, a comprehensive relationship channel. Today's video is all about the top 5 expectations you have about your marriage. A marriage without expectations does not exist for any couple. In fact, most couples have idealistic dreams about their marriage. Having expectations about their marriage is normal for almost all couples and it just cannot be avoided. It is only natural that you two have many expectations about your married life. Marriage is, after all, your lifelong relationship with the person you loved and married, isn't it? And so you have many dreams about it. There is nothing wrong in it. But the mistake you commit is that your dreams and expectations about your married life are often unrealistic and impractical. And when your expectations are unrealistic, it just means that it will never materialize in real life. Sadly, when your expectations about your spouse do not materialize, you feel you're unlucky to have married a wrong person. This is a sad thing happening in most modern marriages, having great expectations and having great disappointments. And unrealized expectations is the topmost reason that you see an alarming rise in divorce rates among modern couples. What exactly are your unrealistic expectations about your marriage and your spouse? The number one expectation you have about your marriage is that your love for each other will be frenzied and ardent forever. During your dating days, your love for each other is at its peak. You're in cloud 9 to have found the right person to spend your entire life with. On your wedding day, you're emotional that you're lucky to be marrying a person perfectly suited to you in all aspects. You vow to yourself that you'll make your spouse happy, content, and fulfilled. You're also sure that your spouse will make you happy, sheltered, and cherished. In the initial days of your togetherness, your dreams of a rosy married life seem to be coming true. It is because both could not have enough of each other. You spend all your time together. You have so much to talk to each other. The physical intimacy between you is exhilarating and exciting to both. And your whole world seems to consist only of you and your spouse. Your initial excitement of being married to your spouse makes you daydream that your love for each other will forever remain frenzied and ardent. But as days go by, you're taken aback when your love for each other stabilizes towards normalcy. When normalcy enters your married life, you find that there is nothing frenzied or ardent in the love your spouse displays towards you. You too find that your love for your spouse takes a back seat as you struggle to fulfill the multitude of responsibilities marriage thrusts on you. And as years go by, your love for each other shows many holes in it. You no longer feel that you've married the right person. You begin to have that much of differences of opinion with your spouse. In fact, you feel you have made a mistake in marrying a person not at all suited to you. Now you feel that your relationship with your spouse is not what you expected it to be. The number 2 expectation you have about your marriage is that money will never be an issue between you. When in love, your spouse spends for you without thinking too much about it. In fact, your spouse is lavish in spending for you. Your spouse eagerly buys you whatever you crave for. And you build castles in the air thinking that your spouse would cater to all your needs even after marriage. In the initial days of your marriage, your spouse shows himself or herself as indulgent and pampering towards your needs. But as years go by, your spouse becomes tight-fisted in spending for you. And to your astonishment, your spouse also asks many probing questions about your spending. You find that your attitude towards money dealings is entirely different from that of your spouse. You like spending money while your spouse likes saving money. This contrasting views about dealing with money makes you feel that your spouse is self-centered in money matters. And it is not surprising that you often fight with your spouse about money. The consistent money-related arguments you have with your spouse makes you wonder at the awesome power money wields in your relationship. The number 3 expectation you have about your marriage is that you will always communicate with love. Your spouse whispered many lovey-dovey words in your ears during your love days. Your spouse admired your looks. Your spouse had many words praising your looks, the way you do your work and your efficiency. But as years go by, you're taken aback when your spouse casually notices you. There's no love when your spouse communicates with you. After your marriage, your spouse does not have any appreciation for you. Instead, your spouse has many criticizing words about your way of doing things. You wonder as to what happened to the love you had for each other. That commonplace has become your communication with your spouse. The number 4 expectation you have about your marriage is that you think your spouse will always be supportive towards you. When in love, your spouse supported you emotionally. Whenever you look downcast, your spouse is the first person to have caring words for you. Your spouse spoke encouraging words to pull you out of your depression. But after a few years of marriage, your spouse scarcely notices when you're undergoing tremendous work-related pressures. Even when you confide about your problems to your spouse, he or she never really listens to you. Your spouse seems to have stopped caring about you. All you can do is to wonder about what happened in between that your spouse has changed in a way you dislike. The number 5 expectation you have about your marriage is you think that there will be no fights and arguments between you. Before your marriage, you scarcely had any arguments with your spouse. Even when there were arguments between you, you easily made up. But after your marriage, you have constant arguments with your spouse. You do not talk for days when you have fights with your spouse. You argue about money. You fight with your spouse about sharing your family duties. You argue with your spouse about your children. You argue about who's responsible for your family problems. In fact, you argue about everything. You disagree with your spouse about everything. You often find that you do not have a common ground to which both have the same views. Can you see how most of your expectations about your marriage is dashed to the ground? Does this mean that the love between you and your spouse has died? You're wrong if you feel so. Your expectations about your spouse before your marriage were all daydreams. Daydreams never come true. Your married life will be a reality to the core. So, it is bound to have disappointments and disenchantments in store for you. Accept the simple fact that your marriage will be realistic and normal. If you must enjoy your married life, you must accept your spouse for what he or she is. And you should also forego your idealistic dreams about your spouse. Foregoing your rosy expectations about your spouse is the only way to enjoy your married life. Did this video make you understand that your expectations about your spouse will never materialize? Marriage realities will have many such relationship eye-openers. Subscribe to my channel to understand your marriage in a new light. Press the bell icon for updates about my latest relationship videos. Make love forever until death do us part your relationship goal.